Alright, let's do this one last time. Hello, my beautiful people, and alright, let's talk about Across the Spider-Verse. So, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the much anticipated sequel to possibly the most influential animated film of the 2010s, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is easily the best film that Sony Pictures Animation has ever made, but it is also the best Spider-Man movie ever made. To the point where the next Spider-Man movie that would come out a few years afterwards, to the point where Spider-Man No Way Home was basically a live-action remake of Into the Spider-Verse. And the film has been so influential that lots of animated films released in recent years took a lot of their animation style from the film, such as The Bad Guys, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem and Wish. Now, Spider-Verse wasn't the first movie to incorporate a style of being computer animated while attempting to look 2D. It had been done 3 years prior with the Peanuts movie, and even 3 years before that film, Disney attempted to do that with their short Paperman. And while, say, the Peanuts movie just took the characters, put them in CGI, and added some cell shading and a couple of 2D effects around them sometimes when they feel strong emotions, Spider-Verse, on the other hand, took it to a whole new level, and it forever changed the industry. Actually looking like a comic book come to life and having several different animation styles throughout the rest of the film. A black and white film noir style, an anime style, a Looney Tunes style. Fantastic. So after everyone loved the first film, the only question was, what was the sequel going to offer us? Will the sequel be a masterpiece on the same level as the first one? The answer ended up being, yes, this movie is fucking amazing. Dare I even say it, better than the first one. And the crazy thing about it is that it's only part one of a two-part story. The film takes place a year after the first film, and it follows Miles growing up, aging up. He's struggling to balance the responsibilities of being Spider-Man while also being a good student and a good son to his parents. And we see at the very beginning of the film that Gwen in her universe is also struggling herself. Not necessarily between being Spider-Woman and Gwen Stacy, but mainly due to her relationship with her father, because her father thinks that Spider-Woman killed Peter Parker in that universe. And so there's sort of a bit of a complication because Gwen Stacy's dad wants to put her behind bars without his knowledge, and this whole opening sequence, it takes place in Gwen's world, and it looks fucking beautiful, like an abstract painting, and she fights the Vulture, which is from another universe, a Da Vinci style universe. The animation's really great, and Miguel O'Hara shows up, Spider-Man 2099, and he is the leader of an elite group featuring all of the best spider people across the multiverse. Alongside him also comes Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, who rocks the motorcycle and is pregnant. It's not really important to the plot, but she is pregnant in the film. And they put Gwen Stacy in the group after seeing how good of a spider person she is, and Gwen kind of wants to use that as an excuse to, one, escape the drama in her father, because her father just discovered that she was Spider-Woman, and two, to see Miles, eventually. And all this shit happened before the title dropped. Miles has to fight a brand new villain called the Spot, who has these holes in his bodies that are different portals, and he uses these holes and portals to travel the multiverse. He was actually a background character in the first film who Miles threw a bagel after. Yeah, that little detail ended up being very important to the sequel. It's the "my parents, where are they?" of the Spider-Verse movies. If you've seen the Finding Nemo films, you'd know. Now, I want to talk about the length of this film. This film is the longest American animated film of all time, clocking around about 2 hours and 25 minutes, something like that. This film does not feel like that length at all. The movie's pacing is fantastic. It's very fast paced, very well paced. But a lot of the film is just characters sitting and talking, and these moments do happen a lot. But they're really great moments, really well written moments, and they're great character work for Miles, for his parents, for Gwen, for her dad, for Peter B. Parker, for everybody. Yes, there are plenty of action scenes in the film, and the action scenes are freaking beautiful, but a lot of the film is characters talking, and I respect the film for taking its time to give insight on these characters, especially for an animated family film that's also a superhero film, made by the people behind the Emoji Movie. Well, technically the studio, not the specific people, but you know what I mean. I don't think I'm going to get into spoilers here just yet, but the character work and the stuff that these characters are willing to do in order to protect the multiverse is insane. Meanwhile, Miles over here, he's just like, fuck that shit, I'm gonna do my own thing. You know what, fuck it, I'm gonna talk about spoilers. Spoilers ahead! So, in the Spider-Verse, there are these things called canon events, where these have to happen for a certain Spider-Person. Like, say, you have to lose a family member, preferably an uncle. You have to do the train scene from Spider-Man 2. You have to just give up being Spider-Man at some point before it becomes Spider-Man again. And another one is you have to have a police officer, preferably a captain, who is close to you that dies. And Miles is like, oh shit, my dad is about to become captain. And so Miles is like, holy fucking shit, my dad is going to die. What can I do to stop this? And Miguel O'Hara is like, there is nothing you can do. It is set in stone. If you don't do anything, the multiverse will be in danger. Which, you can understand where Miguel is coming from. He's been around the Spider-Verse for a long time. He knows what happens. But, here's the thing. Spider-Man India's world. Spider-Man saves... No, Miles ends up saving the chief that Spider-Man India was supposed to not save, and he was supposed to... Now, what ended up happening is that Miles ended up saving the chief, and Miguel says, Spider-Man India's world is now in danger because of you, Miles. You're the one who did this. If that spider hadn't bitten you, that wouldn't have happened. That spider isn't even from your dimension. Yeah, the spider that bit Miles isn't even from his dimension, which makes sense looking back at the first film, because that spider is glitching out. And the thing is, we never actually see Spider-Man India's universe get destroyed or fucked up in any way, because, like, literally all Miles did was just do what Spider-Man is supposed to do and save a person. Now, we do see a universe get destroyed, but that was because Miguel O'Hara decided to just live in another universe and take up the place of the person who used to be there, because he died. And as we saw in the first film, that's not a good idea. So, as we can tell by just watching this movie, living in another universe is a no-no, but saving a person, saving a captain, is perfectly fine. And then the other spider people are like, Miguel, what the fuck? Aren't we supposed to be the good guys? And Miguel's like, we are the good guys. It's like, a lot of these spider people are just willing to let people die to protect the multiverse. But it's crazy. And you understand where everybody is coming from. But Miles seems to be the more reasonable one since he doesn't want anybody to die. But being Spider-Man, you have to make sacrifices. With great power comes great responsibility and shit. And it leads to a fantastic sequence where all of the Spider people are chasing after Miles. And that scene alone took 4 years to make. And yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even mention some characters. Spider-Man India, he's a lot of fun. I love how he's only been Spider-Man for 6 months. I don't even think it's been 6 months. I think it's just a month. And he's just the best at everything. I also love how fucking cool Spider-Punk is. Like, genuinely the coolest motherfucker. Like, he sticks to the man. And he had Miles' back from the beginning. He was like, yeah, Miguel's kind of a fucking weirdo. And then Ben Reilly's in the film. The Scarlet Spider, voiced by Andy Samberg. And when Andy Samberg shows up in an animated film, for me, it's always like, alright, this is going to be a fun time. And and if you know anything about Ben Reilly, that is fucking hilarious on what Andy Samberg does with the character. Huh. And there are also some cameos in the film. Now, a lot of the cameos were revealed in marketing, such as Spider-Man from the PS4 Insomniac game, the Spectacular Spider-Man from the TV series, Spider-Man Unlimited from the TV series, and a returning cameo from the first film, the Spider-Man from the 1967 television series, you know, the one with the famous intro. But there are some other cameos and some other worlds that I thought were fucking hilarious. First of all, this was another one that was revealed in before the film came out, but it wasn't in a trailer. But fuck care. The Venom universe makes an appearance. Obviously, there's no Spider-Man in that world, but we do see the Spot travel to that universe where he meets Mrs. Chen, the bodega lady who's in both films, and she is not amused and not really impressed at all with the Spot because she sees weird shit all the time with Venom. We also see the Spot see the Lego universe, a universe made entirely out of Lego, which, fun fact, was animated by one guy, and he was 14 years old. Yeah. The guy made a video where he recreated one of the Spider-Verse trailers in Lego. The creators of the film saw it, and they had him animate that scene in the film, which is fantastic. Plus, I think it's a little nod to the writers and producers of Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who were the writers and directors of the Lego movie. So nice. Does this mean that the Lego movie is in the Spider-Verse? Probably. I don't fucking know. Some other cameos include some stock footage from Tobey and Andrew's films, specifically Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man. And perhaps my personal favorite cameo of them all, Donald Glover as a live-action Prowler. Now, in case you remember, Donald Glover played Aaron Davis in Spider-Man Homecoming. Aaron Davis is the Prowler in the comics, and Glover even references Miles. We just haven't met this version of Miles yet, and we've never saw him in the Prowler costume, so seeing him in this film in that Prowler costume was very fun, very pleasing. I really enjoyed seeing that. Hopefully we'll see more of live action Donald Glover at the Prowler too, and it's especially fun seeing that cameo because Donald Glover is the reason Miles Morales existed. He dressed up as Spider-Man in an episode of Community. Fans wanted him to be cast as Spider-Man, and so the folks over at Marvel created a black Spider-Man because of that, and in came Miles Morales. Very fun, very cool. Not the first time Donald Glover was referenced in Spider-Verse. There's a clip from the Community episode where he dressed up as Spider-Man in the background of the first film. And one last thing I want to talk about, the animation. Peak. It's kind of hard to top what they did in the first film, but it did succeed. From Gwen's world, where everything is just a painting, an abstract looking painting, to the point where there are several scenes where the background just disappeared and replaced with abstract colors, to the Indian-inspired world of Spider-Man India, to the aesthetic world of Spider-Punk, where everything and everyone looks like they were made out of a newspaper. Like, all the different animation styles are spectacular in this film. Combining hand-drawn animation with computer animation and even a little bit of live action in so many different ways, in so many different unique ways. Like, this is what I dare even say that, like, this is what the medium of animation was made to do, because the animation in these Spider-Verse films are truly some of the best animation in the industry ever. And no wonder that it forever changed the game on what animation, on what feature-length animated family films could do. And this film is also a prime example of that. And it's only part one. The film ends on a cliffhanger with Miles getting into the wrong dimension where there is no Spider-Man. His uncle is still alive, his dad is dead, and he is the Prowler. So, massive cliffhanger ending. March can't come soon enough, and I can't fucking wait to see what Beyond the Spider-Verse has to offer. So, anyway, guys, what do you guys think of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? Please let me know down in the comments below. The mic almost fell over. And anyway, guys, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified on when future videos are uploaded. But until then, I will see you later. Bye!